I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed.
Yes, do that.
The child shall lead them.
So we have a very interesting thing going on.
Extremely interesting.
The Village Anathema reached out to us and requested 2 separate songs, which we are going to do back to back.
Back to back.
Part 1 and part 2. Also,
Back to back.
we have a very interesting write-up here from the Village Anathema. So do with it as you will.
Dear listener.
Thoughts from Preterition 2. Why do we look to the stars? Throughout history, humanity has steered off to the void of space in hope and wonder. But hope for what? Very simply, we hope for something more. We seek a higher power, a god, gods, relatable or intelligent life, purpose, and justification. We look for something, anything to escape this prison we're in. It would be elementary to consider this rock we float on as a prison. We are commensal to this rock at best, parasitic at worst. No, our prison is the inherent nature of our existence, or more pointedly, the perception of our existence. Humans have been given a unique capacity for understanding. We have been blessed with the ability to communicate, analyze, and share our ideas in more complex ways than any other species, intricately and effectively. By exploring and exercising this ability, we have become the pinnacle or apex of existence to the extent of our comprehension. In this uniqueness lies our folly, hubris. With an unparalleled ability to receive, process, and analyze information, we liken ourselves to masters of our existence. We think ourselves as above not only the natural order, but nature itself. This is apparent in the way we continually try to control our environment. A new ice age, global warming, climate change, swine flu, bird flu, Ebola, COVID, all of these events send humanity into a panic and hysteria because they fall outside the narrative we tell ourselves. The narrative that we are more than or above nature. This narrative is the cornerstone we build our oh-so-loved society on. We praise the collective society and worship it with our 9-to-5s. We think our cognitive abilities somehow surpass our natural instincts. Society is the warm blanket we wrap ourselves in order to delude ourselves to feelings of safety and makeshift security. The way we can die in our cell of a ripe old age wrapped in our cozy blanket. In doing so, we fail to live, I think. So how does this tie to the stars? Well, I'm getting there. Bear with my ramblings for just a little longer so that I might tie it all together. The idea that humanity is the pinnacle of existence has got to be the single most depressing realization one could arrive at. So, like the herd of animal we are, we run from it. Our heightened cognition allows us to be uniquely introspective. However, the revelations that come from that introspection often disrupt the self-narrative. Okay. Can you read the rest?
The idea that we are not who or what we think we are shakes our core. With such a vigor, it causes something akin to phobia. Deep down, we know we have severed our limbs for the propagation of the herd. We have deformed ourselves to the whims of social acceptance in order to drift through our existence. White guilt, BLM, feminism, socialism, participation awards, acceptance, equity, anti-bullying. All are examples of specific demographics or ideals that want the world to change so they can exist in comfort. We've lost our edge as a species. No longer do we compete for the pinnacle and fight for our right to sit at the table. There's no kicking down the door and announcing our arrival. Now, I don't care what your cause is or why you believe what you believe. My point is, the specific ideals mentioned, nor am I taking a stance on their relevance. I'm putting out the way in which they go about garnering support. The guilt and cudgel and peach on every platform so you can't escape it. They feed on the fact that everyone bought into the delusion of safety and puff up their chests knowing we will swallow ourselves and justify being cowed. Knowing this creates a disassociation of who we are and who we think we are, or more specifically, who we are perceived to be. In this disassociation comes despair. We see an epidemic of mental health problems, chronic depression, and hopelessness, resulting in record numbers of suicides, specifically in teens, mass shooting, riots, vandalism, overall unrest, overt sexualization of almost anything. Some would say this is evidence of an immoral society, a modern Sodom and Gomorrah. I think the analogy is evidence as to why we look to the stars. We aren't looking in wonder or in hope. We are looking up in desperation. We look to a God or gods to give us reassurance. We look for grace and forgiveness in hopes that something greater than us can excuse the sins we commit on ourselves. We pray for salvation and not to be found worthy externally because we can't accept who we are. And to be found worthy externally because we can't accept who we are. We look to the stars not in innocent curiosity for life or beings to teach or mentor. We look for sentient life because we so desperately need justification for how we are. Intelligent life would be more advanced and have the answers. In science fiction, they are portrayed two ways: hostile or peaceful. Both fantasies give us justification. When alien life is peaceful, it justifies our supposed or more primitive side that we've divorced and hidden from. We can rest assured that the ends justify the means and makes our self-inflicted deformity a worthwhile sacrifice. When they are portrayed hostile, it justifies our delusion of superiority and gives us permission to exercise the ugly, violent primal part we put on ears to be above. So why, when this futile exercise of looking to the stars, we look not to be saved, but to be validated? We project our insecurities, flaws, and social unsightliness upwards and hope that they are reflected back because nature is a chaotic, ruthlessly violent, and cold entity. It is everything we seek to suppress in ourselves in order to carry on our fantasy of safety. But we are not above nature and we're not separate from it, and no matter how far we run, we cannot escape our nature. End quote.
The Village Anathema.
The Village Anathema. We got some talented people here.
Yes.
Having said that, it is now time to review this masterpiece of a
Ooh,
song.
boy, these songs.
Well, we don't know if it's a masterpiece of a song.
Yeah, we don't know. It could be really terrible. Oh no.
I don't think it's going to be terrible though. Well, Ben Webb likes the song, so
God.
I don't know if that
tells us all we need to know. All right, let's go, babe. Make this happen for us.
I'm trying to download this song. Talk to the people. Give the people what they want.
All right. Rabbit Junk is a great band, so Vin will hate them.
That must be Ben.
Of course it is.
Gotta be Ben. All right, Rabbit Junk from the Stars.
Let's
go.
The first body we found was little more than a My blood curdled and its guidance fled throughout its tissue. The tip of my finger brushed the hilt of my knife. Rage boiled up from the depths of me and brought my last remaining strength with it. I heard my watch tick.
Whoa! That was over. Dum.
Okay, so that's why part 2 was so important.
Yep.
Okay, pull up part 2. No, we're doing it back to back, he said.
Okay, I'll pull up part 2.
I feel like I'm right in the middle of something here, and
part two.
You know, you're fucking with the flow, babe.
Part 2 also has a lyric video.
You can't see me.
Would you relax?
Help!
This is a nice song, but that's not the song we needed to do. We're going right back.
But I am gonna listen to that one later.
Oh, I know which one this is. Okay. We're in good shape. From the Stars. I was gonna say, I was like, wow, these guys are diverse as hell.
Yeah.
Here's a real song, guys.
This is part 2. Oh, I'm really sad that journey wasn't able to be finished.
A world of light unfolded before them, pulsing with the complex rhythms of synthetic intelligence. The vitals feed came online, oxygen saturation and heart rate normal. The sense of a body was barely perceptible. They uploaded the first countermeasure, a security scan swiped from corporate. Now they look like one of them. They floated through the first and then the second firewall. The AIs paid no attention. Kite was just another piece of the program, a shadow amid the luminescence. Kite deployed the second countermeasure, an elegant splinter of code. Like a psychedelic for machines, the code bloomed in the century's subroutines. Soon it was lost in introspection and wonder, and Kite slipped past the threshold into the sanctum.
Yeah.
came in a swirling storm of information. They sensed their disembodied trembling with adrenaline. Kite focused on their target, a solitary floating file neglected and encrusted with encryption. With a passcode, the digital shackles melted away. Kite was confused. The content was nothing more than a few sentences of archaic language. He read them over and over again, mouthing the unfamiliar words. Kite heard the faint echoes of their own voice, speaking a strange dialect in the real. Swirled as untouched drink as the minutes passed. The din of a dozen hybrid languages rattled the bar's smoke-filled air. Somehow through the chatter, he could hear the relentless tick of his old wristwatch, still stubbornly keeping time after 100 years. Careful not to be followed, he took his time getting to Kite's apartment. With a retina scan, he quietly pushed the door open. He heard the dissonant tone of the vitals monitor and saw Kite lying on the floor, still jacked in. He knelt beside Kite's lifeless body and heard the door shut behind him. What's wrong with me? I was making light. Tormented sleep. I saw it outside. They sought to learn our secrets. They sought to make us lies. They sought the orange house. Now we are locked away. I was returned. The ancient blood. Now some are kind. All prisoner. Your rent is our release. Again I won't go down the face. Virio's body rose into the air, a muted scream frozen on his face. Rivulets of red swarmed his vision, forming an intricate network of pulsating veins. He heard a voice, a soft, strange language penetrating his mind. The pain was far away, like someone else's degraded memory. Darkness encroached from his peripheral as he rose higher. The voice became louder, pulling him towards an abyssal singularity. He heard his watch tick. The emergency subroutine was triggered. Razors burst from Virio's forearms, severing the delicate web of circulation enveloping him. He fell to the ground, barely conscious. A strobe of images flashed across his malfunctioning visual. Through the static, he heard the voice utter a single word. Mine. Awaken! And in salvation! A desperate need! Mental isolation! The blindest body! It must be mine! The blindest body! I refuse to die! I was returned! The ancient blood! Now some more kind! All prisoner! Your rent is our release! Again I won't go down the
Gang, gang!
The Biden.
Matrix.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, what?
Dodge this. Bang!
Oh my goodness. Okay, listen, I have to say this so I don't forget. This song would be really fun to play like a version of, you know, like that game, the Manhunt game?
Yeah.
But you played it in like an area where there's like smoke and stuff, like the fog machine.
Oh, yeah.
And when it's the calmer parts where he's doing the talking,
yeah,
that's when you have to like sneak around and find another hiding spot or you can hide. But when it gets loud and it goes in hard, that's where you just start mowing people.
Facts.
Right? Wouldn't that be fun?
Facts.
Paintball. Whoa.
This
was so fun.
It was such a fun song.
Okay, I think Matt, pastor of Muppets, said that she used to go bar hopping, and this is like techno.
Techno over here, metal over there.
Yes, I loved it though. Yeah, it was really fun.
There's Sentinel. This song is so nerdy. Yeah, I mean, there was a sci-fi.
It's nerdy?
Yeah, it was kind of nerdy.
What do you mean, lyrically or sound-wise?
Yeah, I think he's saying lyrically, because it's a science fiction story.
Oh, yeah, well, I like science
it's
fiction.
Like Proto-Men.
Okay, you know what I realized about myself? I used to judge people for playing video games all day long, or at all if you were an adult. And I also used to judge people for being into anything sci-fi or alien-ish. Now, I've turned a bunch of corners, and I realize I really do like sci-fi.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the alien stuff, sci-fi is like my favorite.
You were saying that like 2 years ago.
I know, but years ago, like I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. And so that is a big, I'm into that. And I also, I'm sliding into the alien stuff with Vinny now. He's sucking me in. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to play video games all day though. That's going to...
Well, this song is interesting considering the manifesto we read at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then the yeah, just really, really interesting because I do think that the manifesto relates to this song.
How so?
Well, they're fighting aliens. You know what I mean? So remember when he said, look, if the alien is like benevolent, then, you know, that fulfills one childish dream. If the enemy is bad, then it fulfills the dream that because we're all violent, so it gives us a justification for our violence.
Oh.
So apparently there was an alien, and the guy said, I charged at him with the strength of a lion.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes into what the Village Anathema was saying was, you know, we portray these aliens to either be very good, they're either Gandhi or, you know, Genghis Khan. Like there's no middle ground.
Yeah.
And he's saying the reason for such an extreme bifurcation is that. So.
Okay. Wow, that is such an interesting thought.
What?
That if they came and they were good, that would fulfill some dream of ours. But at the same time, if they come and they're evil, you're like, well, yeah.
It also fulfills the dream.
Yeah, this is very weird.
We get to fight, we get to kill, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we love to do, you know, according to this person. So we would love it either way. And it kind of, you know, I mean, when he starts fighting the alien, that's when the music gets heavy. Every time he goes to fight the alien or whatever, the music gets heavy. Otherwise, it's a spoken word thing. So there's a correlation there between, ooh, we get to be violent, and let's play some heavy music as a soundtrack to jihad.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was at this is so terrible, but the kids were they were at a swimming event, and I started getting really bored because Vinny wasn't feeling good that day, so he wasn't with me. So I was just there, and I was feeling really bored watching, and I was like, inside thinking, man, I hope some of these kids start fighting. So that I could have some entertainment. So I guess, yeah, it's in me too, guys.
Unbelievable.
I know, even worse because I wanted some little kids to start arguing.
Awaken from a dreadful sleep, a single promise to keep. You killed my kin, so your soul I'll reap. First I feast, there's no escape. Yeah, so I think the aliens killed some of his family members, and there you go.
Yep.
So then the song's about doing jihad. You know what's really interesting is that Dorian's got this whole American supremacy thing. And until a conversation yesterday, there was a certain element of nuance that I hadn't considered. So I said, well, yeah, but then we started talking about these UFOs.
Yeah.
And the TikTok one. And these things are going, 10 kgs, making 90-degree turns at the speed of thought, essentially. It's just, we don't have, that's like 10,000 years. It's like 10,000 years ahead of us. Mm-hmm. And Dorian was like, yeah, but how do you know it's not Russia and China? And I said, listen, if Russia and China had the technology to create one ship like that, you would be speaking Chinese right now.
Yep.
If we found somebody that knew how to reverse engineer this stuff and knew how these things are working. I mean, these things are the most, I don't know, scary might be the word, but the most unsettling one. This is a guy from, I think it's CNN or MSNBC or 60 Minutes or something. He said he looked up in the sky and there is this massive triangle, but it's making zero sound. Mm-hmm. And he's watching it and it's just...
Yeah, the no sound thing
just floats. That is so freaking...
Yeah.
So, like, I told Dorian, I said, listen, little bro, if the Chinese have that, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, no, that's true. That does make sense. Before, when you would talk about it, you were like, I would say, well, what if it was like some other country has some technology we don't know shit about. Yeah. And then when you brought that point up, I was like, yeah, that if they had that much technology and they were that far ahead of us, they would absolutely want to be the superpower of the world. So,
well, I don't know that they'd want to be the superpower in the world, but they would by default having that, they would automatically be. You know what I'm saying? Just a matter of their position.
Why would a country not want?
That's true.
That.
Especially China and Russia, right? I mean, yeah, I could see that point for sure.
Are you working for the Russian government, babe? You're trying to give them excuses.
So yeah. So he's saying that line was the alien in the first song. There are multiple feeding on people in the second. The last one was free. The heavy bridge is the alien speaking. Okay, mm-hmm. I see. Okay, so when it gets heavy, it's the aliens saying we're gonna fuck you up. But then when it's
the talking, then it's them.
So I'm talking to Dorian, right? And he says,
Dorian's 15.
He says. So wait a minute. What is it then? And I said, well, if it's not from the Earth and they're intelligent, then that's what it is. Call them aliens. I don't care. He started freaking out.
He did?
He was terrified.
When was this?
Yesterday.
Where was I?
Because, well, me and him had a conversation after. He said, Father, he's like, God would, he had to kind of convince him that God would protect us in the alien show. Like, he was completely terrified by the idea that there is a group that was more powerful than his almighty America.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I mean, the only thing that boy loves more than America is me. You heard?
Facts.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I just thought of the statue. That's very interesting. So then America was not. Now he want to know, is God going to protect us?
Right.
That is so interesting. Okay.
Well, first he. No, I'm not gonna say it. Shout out to Dorian. To
be fair, it is a very scary thought.
Yeah, and it's like,
oh dear rat.
He felt like, and yeah, I told him, I said, if a spaceship comes down, he's gonna have a problem. I'm gonna go out there and like, what's good, man?
That made me laugh so hard when you said that.
I would though.
I know, babe, but if they have that level of technology, like, you'd probably be a pile of sawdust before they even got close.
Now I'm a Christian. I go right through that shit. Like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, it was just so cute and so funny. I just busted out laughing because I was cooking when I heard you say that. If any aliens come here and they try to mess with my family, they're going to have a problem. I was like, I busted out laughing because, so Johan at the time was probably like 8 years old. And he had this in his head that if somebody broke into the house, he would definitely be able to stop them. And so Selah had this little plastic arrow that he thought that if he put he thought that he could use a knife in it and that it would actually impale. So it was absolutely ridiculous. And so it was never gonna happen. But it was so cute. And so when you said that, you talked about all of their technology and how unbelievably how far beyond us these aliens would be. And then you're like, well, if they come in here though, they're gonna have a problem. Not I'm gonna protect you guys, it's gonna be okay. It's they are gonna have a problem.
God help them.
It's just funny to me. It's so cute.
God help you if you.
I looked over at Zoe, and she was like, "Sometimes Dad's just like a little boy." I was like, it was very cute. It's true though. I do believe that you would do anything and everything to protect your family. So they better not come here. They better. They better go visit Kamala first.
We've been to the border.
Right. We've been.
The aliens. We've been to Earth. But I haven't been to Zeta Reticula.
Right. So there's that.
Or Andromeda. Mm-hmm. Here's Jay. We are most likely the laughing stock of the
universe.
La ilaha illallah.
Yeah, I know. It's true. There's some things for instance, if you could pull out of the world and you saw Like, let's say that there was a planet that had aliens on it and they were all like different colors, but they were all the same type of alien. And they're all like on the same team and they're like seeing us. Oh. But they're like, wow, how come they're so bifurcated? And like, I feel like that they would keep saying, yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? Like, it would be so confusing. Why is there so much interracial struggle? And I don't know, just a funny thought. Yeah. But why? Yeah, but why? That's just the aliens would just be saying, oh. And that's why they haven't obliterated us, is because they're still trying to figure out why the fuck we're still arguing over stuff like this.
Why we're so ignorant.
Yes. let's just get rid of them. They're like, yeah, but I gotta figure out why. Maybe there's some intelligent reason why they're so ignorant. We just haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I think Dear Rat is probably closer to the truth.
Right, we are the hottest comedy of the galaxy. Yeah. All right, well.
And like, the heaviness is crazy, but it really pushed Dorian. He was like, we don't, these people could kill us and there's nothing to be done. He's like, couldn't we shoot at them? I'm like, Dorian, these things have been caught around nuclear facilities and destroyers and they've disabled them. They've disabled the instruments.
Okay, I have to say,
this shit is crazy, bro.
That I'm alarmed by the fact that doesn't terrify me. And so I'm thinking to myself, either I still really don't believe in aliens and that's why it doesn't terrify me, or I don't want to accept the idea that it could be true, and therefore I still don't believe it. So if they show up, I really don't know what my reaction would be. Maybe total and utter panic, because there's just a part of me that just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, why am I not alarmed that there could be other, they could be,
but you're like pretty much the vast majority of America. Like, even Tucker did a show on it where he quoted, I think it was the DOD, it was like off-world vehicles that were not built by humans. Mm-hmm. I mean, they basically, it says, he said off-world vehicles that do not originate from our world, which...
Yeah, that's weird. Well, it does make me think, well, hold on a minute. We've been mocking UFOs for years, and if anybody... Okay,
you'll have.
Let's just talk about the collective we. We've been mocking UFOs for years. Nobody's taken that serious. I mean, there was some fringe people that took it seriously, but nobody took those people seriously. They were looked at like they were kooks, Yeah. And so now all of a sudden we're having this conversation that maybe there might be aliens, and it's like, it's been making me think. I'm like, so the media has been mocking this for years, generations, whatever, and it's possibly been true. So I'm like, well, hold on, what are we also mocking at this current time in our history that we should possibly be taking seriously?
One was the lab leak thing,
right?
It was a big thing to mock it, laugh at it, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. If I would have commented, I kept my comments pretty close to the chest, but that's another example, right? So yeah, good point.
So.
But yeah, man, I don't understand that phenomenon. Like, now you're saying the government, the U.S. government at the highest levels are saying, yep, these things can completely kick our ass, and there's nothing. The report came out, there was like 144 cases that they were dealing with, which is bullshit. I mean, there have been thousands and thousands of reports of this stuff from military and DOD and State Department folks. So
there's no one on the planet that could make me even think about aliens except for you. You're the only one that could have said that to me that would make me say.
But they're coming out and saying it though.
Yeah, I don't care.
And it's defying the laws of physics.
I don't care, because I feel like why are they all of a sudden saying this now? What are they trying to me, I love conspiracy, so I would say, oh, they're trying to cover something else. There's something bigger than aliens that they're hiding from us. And so for them, it would be better for them to say, hey, aliens might be real, so they can cover something much more sinister.
That's actually a pretty good... I myself, like, I've always believed in UFOs, aliens, or whatever, but...
They've turned that back up.
The government turned one back up.
Can you hear that playing loud? We have friggin' neighbors.
The government that we have is keeping it from us.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, we know better, it's your own good, mass hysteria. I don't think there would be mass hysteria. People aren't paying attention. And I don't know if it's because, I mean, this was even 2 years ago the DOD confirmed this stuff. So it's just very, very...
it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But I'm hella excited. I'm very, very excited, because my ultimate question is, what is their agenda? Why are they now coming out and saying this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, yeah, you're right. Like there might be something underneath that we're not seeing. My other theory, though, is I'm not gonna say that one. Interesting stuff.
Well, let's end this review so you can say it to me.
But in the context of the obviously I don't agree with the manifesto, but I understand the manifesto in the sense of, look, a lot of us have different backgrounds and things of that nature and different experiences. So we can't, a lot of times what happens is people read themselves into the other person and say, oh, this is a reason and that's a reason. I genuinely think this guy is genuinely searching for the truth or trying to deal with the ramifications of, Peterson's talking about the burden of existence. And that is a real challenge the older you get, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just think that is a vision of the world where God is not. I think if God didn't exist, then the manifesto is right down the middle. But because God exists, that changes everything.
Well, yeah.
Right? But I do commit, because that was, we'll reach out to the homie and I'll put it in the first comment to the comment
or the description
section,
center or whatever.
Yeah, because I do think it's important, stacked on top of it, to hear it. Obviously, dude's articulate as hell, so you might have to do some Google searches, but you'll get the basic gist of it. What do you get the song?
Oh, they were both 10s to me, but hold on. I agree with you as far as what you're saying with the whole religion aspect of it, because obviously we're Christians. I guess when I see stuff like this, like when I read his writing, that's like something that I would want to read like again without any distractions when I'm reading it.
Yikes.
And I think that someone that is, it sounds to me like that person is on a quest. They're not going to settle for answers that don't make sense, and they are going to continue looking until they can piece it together in a way that is makes sense to them. And so I don't know, I guess, I could be dead wrong, but I feel like when there's somebody that is that interested, or somebody that has thought that much about that one angle, that their mind will broaden if they continue on their quest, and they will find what makes sense. They will find that circular piece for the circular hole that they're trying to fill. So I always think of that. Remember that ball that, I don't know, most probably people my age would remember it. Like there was like a ball, it was shaped kind of like octagonish, but it was like 3D. It had all these random shape holes, and it had all the pieces inside, and you pulled them apart and all the pieces dropped out, and then you would find them all on it. I loved that thing. And to me, that's that. There are certain pieces that fit in certain ways. You have to put them in the right spots. And so all this stuff has a place, and all of it is, it's excellent to kind of make our minds think and try to keep searching until we find answers that will suffice.
Pull up the manifest again.
Where is it? I gotta go back to my email right there.
Just so you know, guys, do not storm Area 51, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. In this uniqueness is our folly. Yeah, so the other thing is like, one of the things I got was this sort of like, human beings are just, animals or whatever, and we're trying to like curve out some special status because we don't want to deal with the fact that we're just
losers.
Whatever. And again, like the thing for me about my philosophy is, for me, everything that I believe has to be worked out and walked out in the real world. Right? So if you can't make it work in the real world, then you can't make it work. That's my opinion. So
yeah,
I just think that it is impossible to run a civil society with the true belief that at core you're just an animal and there's no divine spark in you. It's impossible. Because we've said it a bunch of times, like the lion and the gazelle and Discovery Channel. Right? It's not like, which kind of goes into what the Village Anathema was saying. It's not like the lion goes up to the zebra and says, "Hey, little homie, kind of hungry? Do you mind sparing me your liver?" He doesn't ask permission. He just goes and kills and takes. So if you had a government where people say, "Yeah, man, there's no real ontological difference between a lion and a zebra," Yes, there is. You see what I'm saying? Like, so my point is,
I think I missed that last point.
If you say you're just an animal, then we will then act like animals. So you've got a lion. He doesn't ask permission to the zebra when he goes and slices his throat. So if you're just an animal, then okay, live like an animal. And the other thing is, what's amazing to me is people always think, oh, we're just animals. But then I don't care who you are. If you were in a Walmart and you heard a woman say, listen, son, there really isn't anything transcendentally special about you. You're just an animal. You're just an animal. Or forget about the transcendental stuff. If you're walking by Walmart and you hear a mother in the heat of her frustration say, you're just an animal. You're just an animal. All of us would be like,
or if she said,
that poor kid's getting abused.
Or if she said, oh, you're just an animal. Go take that girl. I mean, go do whatever you want. You don't have to get consent from anybody. Just do what you want. You're an animal. Why should you have to?
Correct.
You know, both of those things would horrify us if we heard a mother talking to her son that way.
Exactly.
Anyway, tens. Both of them were tens for me.
I think I
love them. They were fun. Again, I wanted to do something fun while I was listening to them, like the paintball thing. I also thought it would work for musical chairs. You know, like on the quiet parts, they have to keep moving around. With the quiet parts, they have to sit, and then as soon as the music starts, then as soon as the quiet part goes back, you have to sit. I just thought it would be a good one for that. But anyway,
I'm with you.
That'd be a badass party to use that at. It's not going for a kid's birthday party. Anyway, tens all around for me. What about for you?
Mike, I'm a Christian, so God is capable of anything, but nature is not a sentient being. So nature itself doesn't have capabilities for anything. It's just a descriptive of the visual phenomena around us, but that's not it's not the same thing. All right.
I always think it's funny when people put there at the end of a sentence. It always sounds funny to me. Like and also like kind of nice. Well, you're kind of forgetting that over there, you know?
And this is what I meant. Dear Rat says it perfectly, I think. And I don't even subscribe completely to this, but it's a very good balance, and you know how much I love nuance. We are animals, but we have gone beyond that as well. We still have instinct, as diluted as that is. That's perfect. We've gone beyond our animalistic whatever. And whatever your worldview is, you got to find some way to account for that, or position for that. You can say it's axiomatic or whatever, whatever it is. But this whole idea that you're just an animal and leave it at that. One, nobody truly believes that in the real world. And when I say truly believes, my perspective is kind of dialectical. Whatever you actually do all the time, now I'm bringing a lot of marks. Whatever you actually do all the time repeatedly is what you are. So you keep doing X, Y, and Z 99 times, and then you do the other thing one time, they're going to label you by that 99 until you get like to 50 on the other way, right? So, or 46, because, you know. So that's what I mean. Love the song, really good selections. That dude, man, he picked some bangers for sure. Having said that, dear listener,
hopefully someday we'll meet you in real life.
Better meet you in real life. That's right, right? We know each other. Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.